Tell me a little bit about how maybe the inner structure of how an exotic car rental business works. Like, where do you get insurance? What does it really cost? Because those guys don't really have that grasp on that.
Right. Well, the cost part is a little private, but the part also where to get it is also private. But I can tell you this: when I tell you, if and when I tell you who it is and where to go get it, the doors are closed. They don't sell these policies anymore.
Yeah, so that's exactly what I'm saying. You're exactly getting to my point. So
Right. They don't sell these policies anymore. They've closed the industry because of other problems in the industry that have happened and cost those companies big dollars. So they don't care to put new companies in. So,
but there is still people that insure exotic car rental places. It's not like
I think there is, but they're probably 6 or 7 or close to 10 times the price per month per car that I pay.
Yeah, which is way higher, right? Like it's very expensive. I know.
Very expensive.
Which is why when I talk to these other guys and they tell me there's a dealership behind them, like I get it. Like I see why it's doable.
2 weapons which make Broadway supercars what I consider one of the best exotic car rental companies in the country. Our ability to keep the repair, maintenance, and preventive maintenance even more important, all under the roof, all under one roof.
Because you have the other business that does exotic car repair.
Right. Yeah. So that's one thing. The other thing is just running the company very lean as far as overhead goes. I don't have a guy to run and get me coffee. I don't have a guy, washing cars. I don't have a guy doing any stupid specific thing. The guys that we have that work with us, and nobody ever works for me. Everybody works with me. That's the way I like to do things. Anybody that works with us works extremely hard, and they're extremely rewarded for it. So it's a lot better than having a lot of guys and paying everybody little dollars.
And having average employees when you can have 3 to 4 really strong partners.
That's right. That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
So when you think about that, like you have a lean startup model, or you're not investing a lot of capital, and it's probably based on performance.
The capital is a lot, but a lot of the cars do not have payments. A lot of the cars, like I said, we own them outright, and we can just keep the overhead down as much as humanly possible. I own my building too for a very long time. Now where I am, I hate to say it, we rented, because when I came back from Miami last year, I go for the winter to hang out with the family and spend some time. I stayed there for 45 days. Hard to leave South Beach, but I should have been in Jersey finding a property to buy, and I failed at that. I made the mistake. So by the time we came back, there was no options in the corridor I want to be in, and I want a deal and options if I'm going to spend $2 million. So there was none of those to be had, neither one of those things to be had. So I had no choice but to rent something because I wanted a bigger place than I currently had, and I'm not going to make that mistake again in another year or so when I leave this place.
So tell me about starting that business. Like if you're talking, I mean, we have an audience that's young, right? Like they're watching this, they're like 17 to 25, and every kid wants to own an exotic car rental shop because, well, for the wrong reasons, right? The
wrong reasons, right? It's like you don't get high on your own supply. You know what I mean? You got your own toys. You leave the business cars for the
separate.
Business.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right. All billable miles.
Yeah, there's some people that open, car dealerships because they want to play with cars, and then they quickly realize that's why they're going to be out of business in 3 years.
People see a gorgeous gem of a vehicle sitting right there. I just see numbers.
Well, it's $1. Like that car is worth X amount of money per day, and what it is, right?
That's
like the maintenance, the liability, all that goes in the factor.
That's right. You understand.
But tell me a little bit about like if someone wants to genuinely start a car business. Now we know insurance is a disaster. It's hard to find and very expensive.
It's a disaster.
How would they start with 1 car or 2 cars? Like what would be your strategy?
Well,
today?
I started with a car or 2 cars.
Yeah, so tell me about that time. Yeah. Like, how do you do that when you don't own a repair shop? Like maybe tell us what resources you need.
You're not going to be profitable. You'll be very lucky to break even if you have to pay top dollar for insurance, if you have to pay top dollar to dealers to fix the cars, if you don't understand cars. A car comes back, you don't know what a renter did. Was he trying to push the gas and the brake at the same time in these paddle cars? Puts air in the trans lines. Did he try to mess with the roof when he's driving? He'll bend the whole frame. To be a mechanic first is the core and the secret to success in the exotic car rental industry, even more so than having an affordable insurance plan.
So you're saying the network first is the number one thing, like having that structure where your cost of repair is going to be way down.
That's huge.
Because obviously we know that the dealer charges $8,000 for something that you can fix for $52.
That's exactly the right numbers, right? What you just said. It's like
that 9,000% margin.
It's that nuts.
I know. I always laugh because I teach people. I'm like, look, you can get your oil change for $199 at a good independent shop, or you can go to the dealership and get charged $19.99.
That's right.
$1,900 for
or
him
you do
looking
it
at your
yourself
car.
for $3 in your driveway.
And he looks at your car. He does the same thing. He looks at it, puts a little bit of fluid more than like, oh, this is topped off. And I paid $1,900 just for a stamp in a book,
It's insane.
Yeah,
it's totally insane.
And so lack of knowledge is usually the number one reason people fail, because they don't understand the model of how
they
things
don't
work.
know. I mean, I don't really follow the rest of the market and why a company who starts and who fails and whatever, but that's what I would foresee. Why you would fail.
So the mechanical maintenance and repair is key.
That's right.
Like part one.
That's right.
And then you start with one car. What car do you pick and why?
Well, you have to get like the most popular thing that there is that everybody wants.
Not what you want, but obviously what the market wants.
It kind of was what I wanted, It's just the orange Gallardo Spider, regular non-LP. This was in 2011. Got a smoking deal on it. That's the way to buy stuff. Then we added a 430 coupe. It was a Bianco Fuji 430 coupe, pearl white. That's pearl white, and it had a 260 window for a coupe.
Wow,
it's like a record-breaking.
Yeah, that's a record-breaking coupe. Yeah.
Right for a coupe, and we put 40 or 45,000 miles on both cars. Each 45,000 on each car, and sold them 3 years or so after that. No paint work, no accidents, no bang-ups, just a bunch of curb rims that we fixed as we go. A bunch of maintenance on both cars, and we turned them around, and I was just holding my breath. Please don't let that Fuji car get any paint work with the pearl white, because I wanted to.
That was a nice car, like that needed to stay mint.
I wanted to keep it. I would have loved to have kept it, and stick a gate in it, and just keep it for myself. Because it's just, you won't come around another Bianco Fuji.
Yeah, it's a nice color. I mean, it's a nice color to begin with, even on the Maserati or something. It's just a beautiful color. Yeah.
Yes. But, I let it go just to do the right thing and roll the dollars.
You don't get emotional. I mean, the thing is...
No, a little bit, but no.
But if it makes sense, you just move on. It's business.
That's exactly right.
It's not personal.
Don't be a fan, is what I say.
Yeah, originally you bought it for the business, so if the business makes sense, then you move it. If
Without
it's
a doubt.
Personally yours, then you make a decision then on how much you like it.
Absolutely.
So we talked about repair, so now you pick the generic colors and cars that people on the street believe to be the most expensive and crazy, like red Ferrari, orange Lamborghini, yellow Lamborghini stuff. Tell me a little bit, once you have the car, where do you go to market it? Do you market it locally? Do you kind of decide, hey, I need to be number one on Google right away? Like, where do you kind of break into the industry?
Well, there was no chance of being number one on Google, that's for sure, because there was guys doing it, so many years before me in my market. I was the last one to market in my area.
Yeah, because you're competing with Gotham Dream Cars, right?
That's right.
Up there? Yeah.
They're a giant. And they've been around before I even knew what a spreadsheet was. They're all super smart guys over there. And, so doing that was not going to work. So I tried to, I did a lot of things from, making like a yellow sign that says for rent or rent me, whatever it said, with the name and the phone number. And I'd strap it around the roof of a convertible car and leave the car on the highway at 24-hour gas stations. So the attendants are watching the cars all night, whatever.
But people can see it. There's volume.
Oh, yeah. Tons of volume, and it would make a huge difference. Like the first year of business, I think we brought in like $85K worth of revenue just from that one car that we had on the highway.
Wow.
Second year, though, we did it in a different location, and it did not do much, maybe like 20 or 30K. And then, the third and fourth year, I needed all the cars all the time because they're all busy, and I still did not find... I still did not feel like buying a whole nother car just to leave there full time to continue doing that.
So you didn't necessarily leave the car you wanted to rent. You just said this is available for rent.
Yeah, it just says rent, right, and then they'll go on the website and
see other inventory, whatever you have.
Right, and even those years we had 5, 6, 7, 8 cars, whatever. We didn't have like what we have today.
One of the dumbest things I hear about the industry, and this is funny because people call me and they're like,
"It's a tough industry."
No, I know, and they're like, "I'm gonna buy my first car. I'm gonna finance it with the bank, and then I'm going to rent it to my friends." And I'm like, that's illegal. You're going to go to jail for that.
Yeah, if you collect money and rent him your car and he smashes it anyway, not only is that illegal that you guys did a money transaction, but him smashing it, it still goes on your insurance.
Yeah, exactly.
His. But having the correct rental insurance, if he pays me to rent my car, obviously it's not illegal, and he smashes it, God forbid, it goes on his insurance, which is another thing that we do. We confirm everybody. We get everybody's declaration.
They have the right ability
I got to see
to
liability, obviously, and collision in addition to that. If you don't have collision, I can't do business with you.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
You rent to people who are worthy to be rented to, not just the guy that's like, yeah, I want a car for the weekend. And
yeah,
car disappears in the second
right. But you know what? Even a guy who just wants a car for the weekend, if he's got the correct insurance and it matches his driver's license, they're good to go.
Yeah.
You know, and there's a lot of people that'll call and ask questions and this and that, and you know, if you follow up with them, because I do it correctly, and they just kind of hang up on you or whatever they do. You know that they see that we're smart and we're not just going to give cars to anybody.
Right. So they
know their paperwork and whoever they are is not matching up to be eligible for it. So they just disappear on their own. You know.